up bright and early, and I have rented this nifty lift. So I believe it goes up 34 feet. Yeah, it's a nifty TD 34T. It goes up 34 feet, which is supposed to give you an effective working height of about 40 feet. I only need about 20-25 feet. So I'm going to be driving this across the lawn, which is nice. It's on track, so I can move it around. And it's going to go onto the other side of the house over there, so I can paint. I've rented a lift before to do this side of the house. I've done this on ladders in the past, but it's hard with that overhang and those side pieces. Those kind of triangle side pieces, it's really hard to do on ladders. You're twisting and contorting and leaning backwards. And, you know, when I was in my 20s, I did all that stuff. I'm not in my 20s anymore. So just for safety and ease of use, I spent the money on a lift, and we'll see how it goes. We'll drive it over there and get it up in the air. So, I am up in the lift, and right here, look at my house. Yeah, I have to take that screen off. I have to do some scraping, but this is the view. So, it's, you know, it wobbles a little bit, but it'll get used to it, I'm sure. Anyway, got work to do, so I'm gonna get started. Okay, so it's a couple days later since I rented the lift to paint the side of the house. And I know a lot of people are thinking, why would you rent a lift? That's really not that tall, and it doesn't look that hard. And that's true to some degree. I have painted this with ladders in the past. I've owned this house for almost 30 years. So I've been up there many times painting, but it's a real pain in the butt to get those side pieces, those kind of triangle pieces, all, like from this angle all the way to the left. Because of that overhang, it's really hard to get a ladder. There's like one spot where you can fit a ladder, and you're up against it. And actually, I've kind of busted shingles in the past trying to wedge a ladder up there. And again, it looks easy, but it's not. And I had a lot of scraping to do. All of that white trim was pretty badly peeled, so I had a lot of scraping to do. I had multiple coats of paint I had to get on there. So and for the sake of time and ease, I went ahead and rented the lift, and it was just under $400 for 24 hours. So I felt like that was money well spent to keep me safe and make it a lot easier. As you can see, we didn't finish on this side because you can kind of see the difference in the paint and the sheen. Over here to the left, I got all these, the other triangle piece on the other side as well. I got all that done, top to bottom. Got all the top parts down to the top of the windows. All that stuff has 2 coats, so I had a lot of scraping to do. 2 coats. And my wife, I didn't even know, she came out. I'm like, oh, what are you doing? She's like, well, we're painting today. I'm like, oh, you're gonna paint? She's painted with me many times in the past, so she got all behind the mini split. Most of that has 2 coats as well. She did a lot of the trim down here as well. So we just got a small section that we didn't get to that will need 2 coats, but that's easy. That I can definitely easily get with ladders, very easily. But anyway, I'll see if I can come around. So last year I painted the shed the same color. And I want to show you the difference in the paint. So there's the other side. Again, it's kind of hard. Sorry, my chickens are going nuts in the background. It's kind of hard to get ladders in there. Again, it's not that high, and it's not that hard. But it's hard to get a ladder in, and then it's hard to reach the kind of corners, the little tricky corners and everything. So, but this is the difference in the paint, and this is what I really want to show you, I think. And I don't know how well it'll come out in video. You can see I think in that light, the difference. So this is the new paint. Sorry, I whacked my finger a couple weeks ago, so no, I'm not painting my fingernails. It's just bruised. So this is the new. This is Sherwin-Williams Emerald, and this stuff is great. It's like a coating. This almost feels like vinyl siding once you've got it on here. This is the old paint from Home Depot, Behr paint, and it's okay. It's not that old. That paint is less than 10 years old. It's definitely faded because it was the same color. Because actually Sherwin-Williams mixes that color from the Behr color. You can see the difference there. I'm not sure how well it's coming out on camera. It's very noticeable in real life. You know, I've done this side of the house a couple of years ago. And I have another side of the house. You know, every 3 or so years I do a side of the house, so I don't have to do the whole house at once. But that paint from Sherwin-Williams, it is, I think it's up over about $110 a gallon. It's expensive. I wait for a 30% off sale, get it around $80 a gallon, $75 a gallon. But I'll show you later, or I have some paint that, and now, no, I'm not sponsored by Sherwin-Williams. And the Behr paint is okay. When I bought it, it was around $30, $35 a gallon. I'm sure it's up to around $50 a gallon now. So it's less than half the price of Sherwin-Williams, but I can tell you it lasts less than half as long, and it just doesn't look as good. And when you're painting with it, you can just feel the difference. And again, this is, I mean, it is like a coating. This is wood siding, and it almost looks and feels like vinyl, which some people may say it's a bad thing. I mean, it still looks like wood, but I'm just saying the sheen, it is really like a protective coating. So I'll go around the other side that's like 10 years old, and I'll show you. Speaking of chickens, they've been in the mulch again. They love to dig in things and find the bugs and dig everything up. So my wood pile. This side of the house I painted probably, well, at least 6 years ago, and I used to do this side with ladders too. Yes, around the wires. I got some branches to get out and some bees nests. I used to get up there with ladders around those wires, and it was nerve-wracking. I didn't really like it. The last time I did this, I rented a lift. Actually, it was a little bit bigger lift. I had some boards to replace over there. This side is really hard to get at with ladders, just with the branches and everything. Again, and over there is really hard to get at. So I rented the lift, and it was great because you could get around the wires without really worrying. You still have to be obviously very careful. You don't have a lot of room up there. But this paint is at least 6 or 8 years old, and it looks just like the brand new paint that I just put on the other side of the house. I absolutely love it. It like I said, it is a protective coating. It's not just a color. And I'm sorry, don't mean to put down other paint, because I know this stuff is expensive. The Sherwin-Williams is god-awful expensive, but boy, like I said, that's 6 or 8 years old, and it looks as new as the stuff I just put on. So it lasts a very long time, and it's definitely worth it. And if you're going to get up here, if you're going to spend the money to rent a lift, or you're going to put in the time and effort to put ladders up, just get the good paint. Okay, so just to wrap this up, just back to the side of the house that I was working on yesterday. So I'll finish it up this week, and that side over there will be next year's project. That side gets pounded by the sun, south facing with no real shade. So but that paint is the cheaper paint, and it does not hold up. It's just not the same thing at all. So again, now this side took 2 gallons. I got a little bit to finish, but I got plenty of paint so 2 gallons. So even though even on sale it's like $75 a gallon, or it's like $110 a gallon regularly, you know, so I spent $150 plus the trim paint is, you know, probably half a gallon for all that trim, 2 coats. So it sounds like a lot, but for a couple $100, I mean, you know, you're going to spend $100 on cheap paint, so might as well spend $200, $220 on good paint and have it last 2 or 3 times as long. So anyway, that's it. If you like this little bit of home improvement video, like, subscribe. I'm always doing stuff like this, so maybe I'll if people like it, I'll put some videos out of it.